Good evening, and welcome back to the Mistwalkers. As we continue our journey into the Everfest set. So we are now on the Ranger. So the Ranger cards for this set are actually really good, particularly for Azalea. So we're going to start with the Majestic Weapon, Dreadbore. Once per turn action, pay 1. You may put an arrow card from your hand face up into an empty arsenal you control. If you do, it gains +1 attack until end of turn. Go again. Its static ability. Any arrows you control have defense reactions, can't be played from hand. This chain link. So straight up, this is a better weapon than Redliner or Death Dealer. Straight up. It allows you to play the other headpiece for Ranger, if you want to have 2 arsenal slots. It does give a buff, but shutting off defense reactions from hand is just money, absolute money. If you're playing Azalea, I'm guessing you're going to switch to this bow. Bar none. I don't know if there's a better choice for you. Next Majestic is Battering Bolt. Cost 2. 6 attack, 3 defense. When Battering Bolt hits a hero, they reveal their hand and discard all cards other than action cards. Then they lose 1 health for each card discarded this way. So 2 for 6 is already the strongest printed arrow that they have. And then if they happen to keep a handful of attacks, they're just going to get burned. So what does this card do exactly? Well, it either forces them to block with as many other card types as they have, or they're going to get punished for them. Now, if you're playing Azalea, you have the opportunity to use her ability and put this face up in your arsenal zone and then fire it with Dominate. Yeah, that's not going to be pretty. It's definitely the hardest hitting arrow that they have printed. Now, 2 is a lot. Most of their arrows are 1 cost. So it's definitely going to be a stretch on resources, but this is definitely a Majestic you want to be looking at. Tri-Shot is a Ranger action. It only comes in blue. It's cost 0. You may activate target bow you control 2 additional times this turn. Go again, and has 3 defense. Now, the problem with this is that for the most part, Azalea wants to go tall rather than wide. Lexi's the one that wants to go wide. And so you have to balance how many non-elemental attacks that you have in a Lexi deck. So at this point, I'm not 100% sure where Tri-Shot fits. If there is a Go Wide Azalea build that I'm unaware of, then this card obviously is going to be one of those that slots in the deck, since none of your bows let you shoot it more than one time. So it's an interesting card for an archetype that doesn't currently exist. But I always put a footnote. If it currently doesn't exist, there's a good chance it may in the future. And lastly is Rain Razors, a 0-cost yellow pitch ranger instant. Arrows have +2 attack while attacking this turn. So again, this is another card that pumps your arrows this turn for a go wide build. Now we go to the rares. So we have Release the Tension in 3 different colors. It's a 0-cost ranger action. Your next arrow attack gains +3, and defense reactions can't be played from Arsenal this chain link. Go again. So, just in this set, between Dreadbore's ability, or static ability, and Release the Tension, you can cut off defense reactions. And in certain matchups, that's going to be ridiculous. So they can't play defense reactions to your stuff, and it gets a pump. The other 2 colors come in at +2 for the yellow and +1 for the blue. So you definitely have enough front-end arrow pumping cards for Ranger to be able to do its thing properly and shut off your opponent from being able to defend it properly. There's a couple arrows in this in the common slots. We have Fatigue Shot. So 1 cost, 5 attack, 3 defense. If it hits a hero, the base attack of their first attack action card they played during their next turn is halved, rounded up. And the base attack for this is 5, 4, and 3. So, having an attack from a Brute or a Guardian, something that's going to hit you for an absolute metric ton, is useful, but it's also useful at cutting down, like the way the Briar's Cheerios builds works, like 4 attack, 4 attack, 4 attack, 4 attack. You're cutting that down to 2, and now I can block it with a single card. So, definitely a way to slow down their first attack, etc. Next up is Timidity Point. Is also a 1 cost. Also a 5 attack in the red and a 3 defense. When this arrow hits the hero, attacks they control lose and can't gain Dominate during their next turn. So removing Dominate can be useful. The problem is, as a Ranger player, the thing that you want to be aware of is not really Dominate, but it's Go Again. So it's possible that you could use this in a sideboard, but realistically, I think shutting off Go Again, where they can only play 1 attack, it would be better than Dominate. Because you don't want to have to block with your whole hand if you don't want, unless you absolutely have to. And of course, it comes in the 3 flavors. Now this pump is straight nuts with Azalea. Read the glide path. 0 cost. Your next arrow attack this turn gains +3, 2, and 1 based on color. You get to opt 1 and go again. So this was very easily set up for Azalea, because you want a way to make sure, hey, the top card of my deck is an arrow. I want to give it a buff. Now I want to put my card that is not an arrow on the bottom of my deck, put an arrow face up, give it Dominate, and now I'm hitting for 8 or more in a turn. So this is truly a card that Azalea is going to love to set up dominated arrows. All right, and that is all of the Ranger cards. Come back for our next episode where we go over the most hated class in all of Flesh and Blood, the Ruin Blade. Until next time, even in Wraith, there is no escape from the tiger.